Hello, everyone. I'm Sohana Bhattacharya, and welcome to another episode of the Goodfirms Leaders Roundtable Podcast. Podcast wherein we center our topics around business, technology, leadership, and more. And I'm sure you'll learn something new out of our episodes, whether you're listening us on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Amazon Music. And today on our podcast, we have someone really special to talk about a topic that is related to each one of us. We are going to talk about how video marketing can transform business. We are actually going to talk about the power of visual storytelling, which is so important right now for every business out there. And we have a very special guest today with us. He is Robert Weiss. He has his own video production agency, which is called Multivision Digital. And it's an award winning video production agency which has over 1,400 videos produced for every business objective and for every size of businesses, whether small or large. So, thank you so much, Robert, for coming onto our podcast today. Anything that you'd like to share to our audience, something that I might have missed?
In terms of like just introducing us, I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head. And I would say that the first thing that you do when you start thinking about video is to forget about video. And if somebody doesn't listen to any more of this podcast, to take away that. And it's all about your business objectives and your business strategy. And that's one of the reasons why we've created 1,400 videos since we started, is that we're really focused on creating content. Video is nothing more than content. And marketers and business owners and even people like in HR that they're trying to recruit new people to work for their company, everybody's creating content. And as you said, video is such a powerful way to tell stories and to get information. So when you start thinking about video, forget about video. Is launching a new product most important to you? And are you creating content for that? Are you trying to recruit new people and you're creating content for that? Or are you trying to rank higher on search engines and you're creating content for that? And those will guide your decisions on where to create and to invest in your video strategy.
I really like how you told about the first step to start thinking about video is to actually forget about video because it's just another piece of content and focus mainly on what is the message that we're putting out. So, how do you actually determine the best approach for creating a video marketing strategy for any specific business or industry?
Well, there's a lot of variables that go into that, but the first thing to do is to stop thinking about video, is to define your strategy. Like, what are you doing now? If you're launching a new product, I'm going to approach the project of creating video content for a product launch very differently than if we are creating recruiting content or you're trying to drive awareness via advertising. So the variables that go into it are many in terms of, what are the distribution channels that this company has set up for video? Many don't have distribution channels right now, and they need to create them. What is the budget? Is it a small budget, medium budget, or larger budget? That will dictate how many videos I end up doing. Do I do one video or 10 videos? What is the level of complexity of those videos? I'll give you just one example there for a drone. People love drones. So I can do a great video for a company and not include a drone. Or if I do include a drone, it's going to be more investment than if I don't include a drone, because that's an extra person that is very skilled at flying drones. So we can do a drone or we can not do a drone. We will still achieve the business objective of that video without a drone. But if somebody wants a drone, it will just be more money. And there's probably another 5 or 6 variables that go into, the answer to your question. But again, it starts with the business strategy and what budget we're working with, and then how we execute to create content that happens to be video to achieve those objectives.
I think that's very good information because some people just think that creating videos is just using more different sort of devices. But it actually comes down to what you want to achieve and building a strategy accordingly, right?
Yeah, let's go the opposite direction because I had this conversation last week that you can get stock pictures. And is that good for a corporate overview video about your organization? Probably not, but it could be good for SEO or for recruiting. That's a very, very low cost way to go to a Shutterstock and get stock video and create a video. That has nothing to do with going on location and having cameras, having equipment, having drones, and doing all the editing for that. It's still quote unquote video, but it's a very, very different budget level end product that you will get.
And you've worked with so many different level of minds handling businesses. So what are some misconceptions about the video marketing or about the visual storytelling area, and how do you actually address them with your clients?
There's probably quite a few out there, but the first one that comes to mind is one video is a video marketing strategy. A lot of people think that they create one video and they're done. They don't need any more. Like I've got it. I'm good.
Yeah.
And again, that's not the case. And I'll go back to what I said before is like businesses and marketers, they're creating content for all of the things that they do. They're creating content for sales support. They're creating content for recruiting. They're creating content for SEO. They're creating content for thought leadership. And that is the same methodology that you need with video content. And that takes a while to do because it is harder, more time consuming to create video than it is a blog post. And it does take some effort. So the other misconception is that people won't get better, and they will. People don't like themselves on camera, and then they shy away from being on camera. Well, in a business to business sale, it's all about the people. It's all about informing and educating in a personal way. And what I tell my clients is get over it. It doesn't matter if you're short, fat, bald, have a beard, curly hair, straight hair. It's what's in your head and how you communicate that to people or the camera in that case. And that is where a good director comes in. And that's where the value of a company like Multivision Digital comes in, not only in the strategic part of video, but also the working with people and the professional services of working with people to make sure that they are comfortable on camera, that they can speak well, that they look and sound as good as they do in person, because we're all professionals and we all know our stuff, but we all have the perception of movies in our head when we think video. Actors are perfect. TV commercials are perfect, right?
Yeah.
But as professionals, we're not perfect.
I think that is some really good advice for content creator or marketer or anyone who's trying to make videos, because we all make mistakes while creating videos here or anywhere. And it's not about getting perfect, but maybe delivering the message right. That is more important. Yeah.
Exactly. I'll use this as an example. This podcast today.
Mm.
I mean, what I'm saying and what you're saying, we're not perfect. We're
Mm.
thinking, but we have a plan going into it. We knew the topics that we're going to talk about, and I'm still messing up. I'm still pausing. I'm still thinking, but this is my business, and hopefully somebody listening will get some value out of it. I'm not perfect. And that's again what we do with the company is we help them plan, we help them prepare before we even show up with our cameras. And then we are coaching, we're directing, we're supporting them to make sure that they are as professional and the knowledge comes out. And I think we do that pretty well.
Before, videos were created on putting the brand message and not really about the storyline or the emotions that the video is actually invoking in its user. But we have seen that change a lot right now. So there is emotional impact and emotion storyline, so much of it in videos right now. So what role does emotion play in creating those memorable and effective video content which actually people like to watch?
Yeah. Well, I'll go back to the business strategy piece because your emotion is going to be at the right place at the right time. You talked about branding and storytelling, and that's a great place to put emotion. Recruiting videos, testimonial videos, like personal stories. That's a great time to put emotion, and the use of music and editing skills plays a role in that. But also say that there's a time not to have emotion in a business to business sale. And there's plenty of videos that we do that have emotion. And there's plenty of videos that we do that don't have emotion because people just want information. They want to know who's out there. They want answers to their questions. They want thought leadership content to help them make decisions. And that doesn't need to be emotionally driven. So there's a time and place for emotion in video marketing. You just need to apply it correctly.
And just like we've earlier discussed that your company has created and worked over 1400 videos in so many years. I'm sure you must have like countless successful video marketing campaigns that you worked with for various businesses. So can
Yes.
you give us an example of such campaign that you were a part of and something that Multivision Digital has produced?
As you had just said, there's been so many out there. So I'll give just a few. One of the stories that makes me feel good is when we helped a guy and he was starting his business. He had an idea to do this chocolate making business where you go in and you make your own chocolate.
Mhm.
And he had no business but a business plan. And we did a investment video for him. And we ended up getting him $480,000 in investment. That's impressive. But the point being is that he had already been out talking to VCs for 6 months, getting nowhere. And within 4 months of giving him the video, he had $480,000 in the bank. So that was great. And then we've got another manufacturing business who we did 6 videos for, the FAQ videos. Again, that small business chocolate making video had a lot of emotion to it because we had kids in it and we had families, all making chocolate and the joy of making chocolate and how fun that was and connecting. So that had emotion. The other ones are FAQ videos or how things worked, why they worked, what the application was of them working. Kind of like no emotion, kind of boring stuff. But it was a business to business sale. And this company has still using these videos 6 years later in the sales process. So that's a tremendous investment to them where they can make an investment in video and use that content over and over and over and over again to explain what they do and provide information because buyers will only buy if they're informed. So those are, I consider, great stories and big wins for us.
I think that is a very impressive number. And also that company has been using your produced video after so long. And I think it's very remarkable for Multivision Digital to produce such videos, which has brought so much profit to other businesses and have been used for so many years down the line. So we've all been using social media a lot, and everybody is becoming content creators, using products, putting out videos about it. So it has also led to the rise of user generated content. So what are some steps to incorporate that into the branding strategy?
I will talk about creating your own content. And we encourage our clients to create their own content. And I even tell my bigger clients, if I do my job right, you will probably have a videographer working for you in a couple of years. And they're all surprised when I say that, but it's true because there's so many types of video content that they could do with one person that is lower production value but still valuable. And one of my clients who actually has a videographer, they do a lot of internal video. They're a big bank. So the internal video of their executives talking to their internal audience, it doesn't have to be super polished and amazing like what we do, but it has to be good in quality and it has to be video because people's attention spans are small and video is just effective. So what they have done is they still use us, but they also use their internal person because it's more cost effective for them in between using us. That would be my idea for companies listening. Say you need to do your own video. Now, it will take you some time to understand how to do video if you've never done it before, which is why starting with a professional services company that does video like ours is valuable to you, because they will teach you the process. They will help you understand how to perform on camera, how to prepare for the shoot when you don't know. And, it will take a couple times. Like, don't expect to be good at video the first 2 or 3 times. It'll take you 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times to really understand the process. It's a journey worth taking because video is so impactful. We're all watching more video every year. So it's not like video is going anywhere.
Right. And I think also learning about the process of creating videos, to really get into that, you actually kind of start enjoying the process, taking videos. And then I guess even clients may give their own tip about how this angle should be or how they want this scene to look like. I'm sure they might have them stories like this.
Yeah, again, it just takes time to understand how to do all that.
Can you give some valuable insights on how different generations of people can affect the perception of a brand, and how can different companies tailor their video marketing strategies effectively target each of these age groups?
Okay. I think the overall approach is the same. Starting with your strategy. Are you targeting young people, older people, men, women, white people, dark people, like people with a disease or a need or something? Maybe they play a sport or music. And that's your business strategy. Like, who are you targeting? What is your business going after? And then deciding where the distribution is. So for an influencer strategy, for kids, you're going to be on chat, probably. If it's influencer for older people, you'll probably be on Facebook. If you're trying to drive SEO, if you're like a law firm and you're trying to drive awareness with how you solve problems, if you're a divorce lawyer, you're probably going to create content for YouTube and your website. So the methodology of answering that is the same, and deciding what's your strategy, where is the target audience, and then of course creating content that happens to be video for that particular channel.
Thank you so much for talking so much about video marketing and sharing some very good tips on how businesses can create better marketing strategies. So, lastly, we would like to know, how has our organization, Good Firms, has helped you in your growth journey?
I think it's from an awareness standpoint. Good Firms does a good job of helping me build awareness for my company. And then, of course, giving valuable backlinks, which are really important to search. So, just like one video is not a video marketing strategy, I continue to do other things to drive awareness and things that I need to do. But Good Firms has been a really good partner in that journey, and hopefully more good things to come.
Exactly. And we've been working really hard to bring up different strategies which can help businesses that are associated with us to grow. Thank you so much, Robert, for coming onto our podcast and speaking about such an important topic like video marketing.
Thank you. Thanks for having
And
me.